Welcome to It's All About the Questions, where learning to ask the right questions can help you achieve lifelong success. Now, here to help you ask all the right questions is award-winning author, international speaker, and business strategist, Laura Stewart.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. I have such a fun show here for you today. A good friend of mine, I finally got him on the radio. It's just so exciting. I first met my guest for today's show, back in about 2011, I think it was, before my book came out, when I showed up at an Author 101 conference where I met my agents and my publisher and stuff. And he was on stage talking about doing business on the internet and using all those different media ways of doing business. And, you know, I'm a geek. I owned a tech company, but the stuff that he was talking about really made me think differently about how people do business in the new age. Now, it's 6 years later, and the world's changed even more when it comes to marketing on the internet, doing business on the internet, selling on the internet, because what's the point of marketing if nobody ends up buying your stuff? So Tom Antion has agreed to be on the show today. He is an internet multimillionaire, but this is what I love. Tom's been selling on the commercial internet since around 1994, when the commercial internet, as we know it, really became a thing. He founded the only licensed dedicated internet marketing school in the country, and he has this awesome place you can go to, the Great Internet Marketing Retreat Center. People from all around the world go there to learn how to do business on the internet. He helps you get your focus on your products. And Tom has agreed to be here on this show today to talk about the changing face of business on the internet. And he's going to share some great tips and strategies and tactics. So Tom, welcome to the show.
Laura, it's thrilled to get back in touch with you. And you're looking great today, by the way.
Well, thank you so much. Don't you love how you can just see right through
Is your hair or what is different? I don't know, but you're looking great.
As are you, Tom, as always. You know, the power of the internet is such that you can do business from wherever you are. And you've proven time after time after time that you can set things up on the internet and ka-ching, money just keeps coming in. How have things changed since those early days?
Well, actually, the internet's a fad, and nobody should even pay attention to it. That's what some lady told me at a conference one time. And then she saw me a couple years later, and she came up and said, "I guess it's not a fad, is it?" Yeah, I don't know. I had made like $5 million before since the last time I'd seen her. She thought it was a fad, but. There's been so many changes. There's so many tools available now to small businesses that were only available to large businesses in the past. And you've got the YouTube and the video marketing, which in the beginning it used to take us. You would have to download like a 1-inch big video for 3 hours to watch a couple minutes. I mean, I really lived through that part of the world where everybody just laughs at that now because, you know, you take your cell phone, upload it, boom, you know, you're in a worldwide market in a few minutes. So tremendous technological changes, which I just love the geeks. You always hear me talking about the geeks and propeller heads because they create all these tools that you and I can use to get rich and don't even have to be a geek. We just click here. In fact, that's been my thing for a long time. I just want to know where to click to make money ethically and morally, and I don't want to know all the technical stuff. And so a business person doesn't need to know the technical stuff nowadays. They just need to know all the tools that are available, and they keep coming out like crazy. So it's a beautiful time to be in business online.
So then why, if it's so easy nowadays to do it, do you think people are frozen by the act of taking that step?
Well, there's several reasons. One is the fact that there are many people that are taking advantage of business people by promising them, your feet are up at the beach and you're making a fortune overnight with no experience, no investment, and the get-rich-quick people. So they're really tainting the real world of legitimate people making money online. So that's one reason. The other reason is people tend to forget some of the old school stuff that I grew up in, and no matter how you're selling, you have to take care of customers. You have to be available to them. So many of these young people coming up, they want you to fill out a form on their website if you have trouble and wait until they get around to you 2 or 3 days later for customer service. So that's a basic tenet. You take care of people, and they're not doing that. They want the most money with the least amount of effort, and that's not a basic tenet of taking care of people. So in my operation, we answer the phone 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, and my customers have my cell phone number, and so they forget about the things that actually make people want to give you money. And it's just a different way to give you money now, but you still have to take care of customers.
So the basic, as you said, tenets of business are still there, but the way that you can sell your product and reach your clients has changed dramatically in the Google, Facebook, Twitter era.
Exactly. And if you have trouble and you come to my website to get help and it says fill out this form and we'll get back to you within 48 hours. I mean, you're like, I want to shoot yourself. That's not taking care of customers, but so those kind of people usually fail. Because unless they have something so unique you can't get anywhere else, why would I wait 48 hours for you to take care of me if I can go somewhere else and they take care of me instantly? So you got to stick with the basics, but then use all these tools to reach enormously large numbers of people and get them into your fold. So yeah, you gotta have the basics, but use the new tools to reach more people so that you can apply the basics to more people and make a lot of money.
How do you determine which are the right tools to use once you've figured out what your product is and your customer service methodology and who your niche market is?
Well, you have to test. That's one of the things that in our society where people want instant gratification, they get all hyped up because somebody wrote a really nice sales letter and they buy a piece of garbage and they put it in and it doesn't work and then they get discouraged and quit. But you have to test things and see what really does work, what doesn't, and it's even hard to get legitimate reviews because a lot of these scammers have false reviews all over the internet saying how great their product is. So you have to keep your costs very low, but be willing to test several things. For instance, we do quizzes occasionally. Quizzes are a nice way to go viral, and people pass them on and so forth to get your name out there. But there's like 20 different quiz softwares you can use. So we had to get all of them and test them all and find the ones that worked and find the one that didn't work, and then we used the ones that did. But see, that took time and effort and investment, which a lot of people are not willing to make. But the way I counter that, Laura, is I tell them, you cry about spending maybe a couple $100 on 20 different inexpensive softwares, but guess what? Go buy a McDonald's franchise and put $2 million in and hawk your lungs and live in the bathroom to make sure it works, because you'll be broke if it doesn't. So this is very tiny investments, but you still have to test things out to see if they work before you roll it out and get egg all over your face by doing something and it crashes on you.
All right, you talk about testing these different apps, these different solutions. What does that mean? Take us through what you mean by testing to see if something works.
Well, for instance, with our quiz software, I said I love geeks. So we have young people that work here and I don't want to be age discriminatory, but I mean that's the way it is. These kids grew up, with tablets in their hand when they came out of the womb, and so they really get this stuff. So I might buy 3 or 4 different quiz softwares, and I might say, hey, Travis, I want you to try all these out. And so we basically just put them up on a website that nobody else can see and the public doesn't know about. And all the people that work here will try it and give feedback. Well, this didn't work very well, and I was confused when this happened. And then we find the winner, and then we might buy 3 or 4 more and try them out, and then find the winners. And then we finally keep going until we find the one that has the least bugs, does what we want it to do, and that's the one we roll out. So you can't just put stuff out in front of the public, when you're testing software and apps, because you'll look like an idiot when most of them don't work. So for apps, you test in-house, but I'm going to talk about testing ads and things later when we talk about paid advertisement. And
we'll talk about that when we come back from our first commercial break. More with Tom Antion. We were talking about testing and testing apps. The world changed, and I know that you're doing something differently now. It used to be, search engine optimization, or SEO, was the way to go, so you just needed to test the way you designed your website or your posts, but that's not necessarily the most effective anymore. So how do you test whether paid versus more traditional ways of rankings and being found on the internet work?
Well, I don't think you need to test that anymore, because I've been through the whole gamut since Alta Vista was a search engine, and Ask Jeeves, and way back.
I loved Ask Jeeves.
He went by the wayside, or I don't know if we had a funeral for him or what, but and I was taught by the best of the best. Michael Campbell was the guy that taught me, and he could get all 10 positions for himself and his clients on the homepage of Alta Vista, and he taught me, and I could get between 4 and 6, and I was like 1, 2, or 3 after even Google came along for 12 years straight. And so I was all into this. I mean, it was I was teaching people this, and it, for years that was the way to go. But times changed, and you can't. It's like the old frog in the pot. You're just going to get burned up if you kill yourself to please Google anymore. Now, I still teach people not to do things to shoot yourself in the foot, because, we'll take any free traffic we get, but the problem is it's so time-consuming to even have a chance on Earth of getting a decent ranking, and then as soon as Google turns a dial, boom, you disappear off the face of the earth again. I mean, even big companies are struggling with this. There's big companies that laying off 40, 50, 60 people at a time because that was their business model of having high rankings. So, and it used to be, okay, good enough. You used your keywords properly. Then it was good enough if you had a lot of inbound links that are good quality links coming into your site. Then you had to have social media match everything. And now you got to have all of that, and still and a substantial site that is updated regularly. So you have to crank out content like a fiend to even have a chance. And then again, boom, they turn the dial, you disappear off the face of the earth. So there's no question anymore for most small business people. I don't know if you have corporate people on here, but they got a whole team of geeks that can mess with this. But most of us in small business don't have 40 geeks working 3 shifts to beat the competition. So it's just ridiculous anymore to try to kill yourself to get high rankings, because it'll take forever and there's no guarantees of success. So that's why several years ago I just laid off of that and went to paid traffic.
Now, SEO hasn't gone away, but my impression of it is unless somebody has the exact keyword, you're not going to be found. And it sounds like what you're saying is doing the paid advertising strategically ensures that you're going to be found for what you want to be found?
Absolutely, you're in control, and there's whatever you just said about having the right keyword. Multiply that by 100 times the other things you have to do to climb the ranks in Google, and longevity count. So if you're a new company just starting, you're 6 months before they even notice you, or even there's a mythical thing called the Google Sandbox, where nobody gets a high ranking in the beginning because Google doesn't trust you. So new companies are going to 6 months delay no matter what they do. So the paid traffic gives you control, and it also takes away the need to create content like crazy. And I'm all for content and making yourself credible and believable and beautiful. But when you depend on that and there's no guarantees, you could spend months, you could spend a year creating content and still get nowhere. Where with paid traffic, you could have one decent piece of content and drive millions of people to that piece of content without sweating. And turn on the traffic and turn it off whenever you feel like it. So you have control, and you're not going months and months and months hoping and crossing your fingers you get a little traffic off of Google.
All right, so what are some of the things that my listeners need to start thinking about around paid advertising?
Well, there's some things they have to be careful of if they're going to get into this. And Laura, you've known me a long time. I don't BS. I usually have lived what I tell you. So the first thing that they got to watch out for is ads running away with them. And how do I know this? I let an ad run away from me. I put it in on a Friday, came back Monday because I was real busy on the weekend. $8,000 of ads got burned up in Google with no sales. Right, so,
$8,000? I mean, there wasn't like a cap or anything like that?
No, I just turned it on, said, okay, we're good, and so I made a big boo-boo, and I can afford it, but I don't want, no matter how much, how rich I get, I'm not going to, $8,000 is $8,000, and there's no, you can't get it back. I did it, and I screwed up, so they got to be careful. So my first tip is when you go to paid traffic, you obsess on it. I'm talking every 15 minutes you check your statistics so that it doesn't run away with you. Now, after you get more comfortable and you learn how to put caps on and you see if it's turning into profits for you and things like that, you can relax a little bit. But in the beginning, you must obsess on it. That's the first thing. Second thing is, and Facebook and Google are not going to admit to this, all right? But people like me that have been around a while know this to be a fact. If you don't know what you're doing when you start paid ads, Google and Facebook will sit back and laugh at you and rob you blind. They will take your money and laugh at you knowing you're going to go broke, and the next sucker comes along, they'll take that person's money. And what this means is when you do certain things, Google and Facebook are like the Wizard of Oz, they know all and see all, right? So they can tell the way you work your ad accounts if you know what you're doing or not. So for instance, and again, Laura, how did I know this? I learned the hard way. So in the beginning, I thought I'm going to make my budget $100 a day, and it wasn't going fast enough. I raised it to $300 a day to get an ad going. Well, professionals that know what they're doing don't do that. They might start at $2 or $3 a day with like 15 or 20 ads. So Google and Facebook could see Tom's an idiot. We're just going to take all that money, and then he'll go broke, and then he'll leave, and we'll get the next sucker.
So basically what you're saying is, at the end of the day, you need to be responsible for what you're advertising because nobody else is looking out for you
Exactly.
but you.
You need to know what you're doing, which means get training. And the training is going to cost you less than Google and Facebook robbing you for the rest of your life. See? So that's the second thing, is learn what you're doing, because they can tell that you don't know what you're doing and you're walking into the lion's den.
Okay, perfect. We're gonna go into our news break, which is a hard break, and I don't want you cut off mid-word.
Yeah, when we're coming back, we'll talk about cold, warm, and hot audiences.
Oh, I love that. So when we come back with Tom Antion, we're going to talk about cold, warm, and hot audiences and how to know where to position yourself for paid traffic. We'll be right back with more from It's All About the Questions. Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us because you're listening live on the air, on the radio, on Waxy, or on iHeartRadio, you are here listening to Tom Antion. He is an internet multimillionaire. But what I love about Tom is he helps people literally find the best way to do business on the internet. And he makes it so simple for you. And he's all about authenticity. He's one of the most authentic and honest people I know. So it's exciting to have you here, Tom.
Thanks so much, Laura. So I want to tell the folks about the cold, warm, and hot audiences, but I think it'll make a little more sense if I tell them some of the very interesting things they can do now with these ad platforms. So one of the first things, let's take Facebook, for example. You can upload your database of people. Let's say you have email subscribers or you have a database of customers. You can, as safe as you can be on the internet, you can upload your database. Let's say it's just subscribers, not necessarily customers. You can upload that database to Facebook and make an audience. They call it an audience. And so then you can create ads on Facebook to target those exact people that already know you. Now, you say, well, what good is that? I already got their email. Well, the thing is, people are not on their email all the time, but they're on Facebook part of the time, and they see you in multiple places, and that would be called a warm audience. So that was an audience that knows you, but they're not necessarily customers. So there's strategies for different cold, warm, and hot audiences. So with a warm audience that already knows you, you don't have to introduce yourself. You can just go into whatever your promotion or offer is, and you want it to be relatively inexpensive because they know of you, but maybe they haven't tipped the scale to give you any money yet. So that would be uploading your database. That's called a warm audience. Now, if your database was your customers, you can upload that to Facebook and make a different audience out of that. And that would be called a hot audience. They have given you money already. So first, again, you don't have to introduce yourself in the ad. You can advertise even expensive stuff to that because they've already given you some money and trust you because you hopefully came through with whatever you sold them in the first place. Now, where we get into the cool stuff, Laura, is let's say you upload your list of customers.
And let me just take a step back there. So when you're saying upload, you're talking about you have some list of your customer information. You don't know if they're on Facebook at this point?
No, you don't care. I mean,
okay.
Probably they are, like everybody on Earth is, pretty much. So you just upload it to Facebook, and Facebook is going to go match it to their record in as best they can in Facebook's database.
Gotcha. Okay.
And make this audience, and then you can advertise directly to those people. Let's say you uploaded 5,000 people. Maybe they could 3,500 of them they could match up through phone numbers, emails, whatever it is. And now you got an audience of people of 3,500 that know you already, and you can advertise to them. But the next level of that, let's say you uploaded your customers. Well, so let's say you uploaded 3,500 customers, and you tell Facebook, I want to create a lookalike audience of people that are just like my customers. Now, this gets to the point it's almost woo-woo. How could you possibly do this? Well, Facebook knows all, sees all. So they go out and they find 2 million people as close as possible that they can match up to people that have already given you money. Okay, think about this. And you can advertise to those people, except those people haven't heard of you yet. So the strategy is a little different. You would not send them to anything to purchase or even opt in. You send them to, this would be called a cold audience. They never heard of you, but you've been told by Facebook that they're fairly close to your customers. So you send them to a great piece of content. Remember earlier I said you could just have one piece of content and send millions of people to it?
Yes.
Well, you create a great piece of content, you send them to it where they don't have to opt in or anything to consume that content. Then at the end of that content, you could ask them for an opt-in to get them to opt into your email list. But that's a strategy for a cold audience. You don't ask them for money or opt in. You just give them a free piece of content to convince them that you're worth dealing with.
And free piece of content may be
a blog post, a video, something on a podcast like this one that you're on. We're on right now. See? So something that proves your expertise. Now, the next level of this is called retargeting. So let's say you sent 100,000 people to a blog post. Well, you have put a little thing called a pixel on that blog post, and Facebook starts collecting an audience of everybody that visited that blog post. And then you can send an ad to those people that you know have seen your blog post. And I'm getting something like 12 to 13% conversion rate on people that have already seen my content, where that's unheard of for, just cold traffic that never heard of you before. So that's what we call retargeting. That's where ads chase you around the Internet. You're familiar with that concept, right?
I am. Some of my listeners may not be, though.
Okay, well, that's when you look at a certain tool at Sears.com, and then all of a sudden you see that tool showing up in ads everywhere you go. That's called retargeting. In fact, one time my girlfriend asked me to buy a bra for her because I have Amazon Prime, and so I bought this bra for her, and then bra ads started following me all around the internet. So, and I did tell you, Laura, that I lost a lot of weight recently, right?
Yes.
I lost 65 pounds, and people ask me, well, how much weight you want to lose? And I say, well, I just want to get down to a B cup. But anyway, another cool thing you can do is you can forget all, if you had no database, don't worry about it. You can go to Facebook and you can advertise to people that have certain interests. So let's say somebody's totally into model trains. You can find everybody that has claimed that they like model trains on Facebook, make a custom audience of that, and advertise your stuff to exactly those people that have said they like model trains. Okay, so these are the kinds of cool things you do, but you got to be careful that you don't try to sell something to a cold audience, because they're not on there to buy stuff. They're on there for social stuff. And on a hot audience, if you have a hot audience, you can hit them harder with to buy stuff. See? So these are the kinds of strategies and things that you can do that you never could before. But within a day or so, once you learn how to do this, you can have targeted traffic to your promotions, to your email list, to your content.
How do you know how much to start spending with your ads to see what's working? I mean, I tried it a couple of times. It was very unsuccessful, but I wasn't really...
Because you didn't know what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, I was just like, okay, let me try it and see if it works.
Okay, well, here's where the split testing comes in, and where people are too lazy. Not that you were lazy, because I know you're not lazy, but you just didn't know any better. If I put an ad out, I might put 15 versions of that ad out with maybe a $2 a day cap on it. And I let those 15 ads run, and then some of them are going to be clear losers, where nobody likes the ad, nobody clicks on it, nobody comes over and buys it or does anything, right? So you cut those ads out, but usually one or two of them will emerge as, hey, look at people like that ad, and you go look at it and it was a different picture, and who knows why. It's just, that's why you have to do a whole bunch of them. Cut out the losers, and then once you find one or two that win, you can start inching up your daily budget. You don't go to $100 a day because they know you don't know what you're doing, and they'll just take your $100 and you'll go broke. All right, so you inch it up to $5 a day, and then watch them both. And and if that works for several days, you inch it up to $7 a day, and it'll start making money for you if that was your purpose of selling stuff. And once it starts making money, that can finance you going up to $10 a day, reaching more people and more people. But if you just try to go from 0 to 100, you'll lose your shirt and say, well, it doesn't work. No, it's just you didn't know what you were doing.
Are these ads very intensive ads? Are they stuff that people can easily make at their home office or in their small business, or do they have to hire somebody to help them create these split testing ads?
You absolutely do not have to hire anybody. However, you should learn copywriting, which you probably know that's the number one business skill that made me rich is copywriting, and I have a whole course on it. But,
which is an awesome course, by the way.
Thank you. But one thing that's interesting about Facebook ads is you can't have more than 20% text on your graphic if you put up a picture. So they even have a tool that says, no, you've got 32% text and this ad will not show. We don't allow that. Why? I don't know. They want a good user experience. But there's places that'll sell you a bunch of stock ads, stock pictures, and you can put a little bit of text over it with free tools with about 10 minutes training. I can show you how to do that for a free tool. And the tool, by the way, is PhotoFlexer, PhotoFlexer, photoflexer.com. And you can go up there and put a little text on, and then upload your ad, and boom, it'll start running. They have to approve it, and you can't advertise certain things, so just like most places, you can't advertise guns or, hand grenades or,
okay.
Or anything pornographic.
All right, and on that note, we're going to go into our last commercial break. And if you're not already signed up on Tom's website, go to Antion.com. I highly encourage you. It's great content. We'll be right back with more from Tom Antion.
Success comes from not only what you know, but also who you know. Welcome back to It's All About the Questions with award-winning author Laura Stewart.
All right, since success comes not only from what you know, but who you know, Tom Antion is one of those guys you need to know. So, Tom, you were talking about the Facebook advertising. We discussed that quite a bit. Are there other places that perhaps for some businesses might be the better place to do paid traffic?
Yeah, absolutely, Laura. There's, in fact, Google and Facebook combined are probably around 10% of all the places you could be advertising online. So I'll break this down a little bit into if you have a big, regular, wide type product, like let's say tooth whitening stuff, okay, it could apply to millions and millions of different people, not really a niche kind of thing. There's two places you could go. One is called Taboola, Tabolla, and the other one is called Outbrain, Outbrain. I prefer Outbrain because you can start on a pay-per-click basis with no money up front, where Taboola is trying to get bigger companies to give them thousands up front, against their ads. But you've probably seen all these. You just maybe didn't notice it, but a lot of these major sites, Huffington Post and CNN and the AOL.com, all of these giant sites have deals with Taboola and Outbrain where you see maybe a picture of a celebrity in a crazy headline. Well, when you click through, somebody paid for that click-through to their content. So if you have a wide-ranging thing, those would be good places to go. And just to give you an idea, I think when I was coming out with my Seminar Scammers show, I wanted the term seminar scammers just plastered all over the internet. I think I got 14 million impressions off of Outbrain on major sites all around the world for, I don't know, a couple $1,000s. And you don't have to spend that much, but I mean, 14 million impressions, that wasn't people that clicked through. But I wanted to brand that name, and then it turns out that CNN called me 3 times when Trump got sued for $42 million over Trump University.
Yeah,
a long time ago before the presidential thing came around. So I'm the one that gets called. So that's one action. Now, one thing, with my anti-scam thing, my latest thing is Scam Brigade, which is already in Hollywood being pitched to the networks by a big production company. One thing that's fraudulent that people are doing with Taboola and Outbrain is they're paying for an ad, and then they're promoting on their website these logos, and there's people that Laura, that are doing this, and it's totally fraudulent, and say, okay, as seen on Huffington Post and Forbes and all this. Well, that's totally fraudulent. FTC came out and said this is fraudulent, making people think that you were featured on those news outlets, but you just advertised, and you might have spent $20 worth of clicks and then said, acted like you're featured on Forbes. Well, that's fraudulent, so don't do that. The same thing happens if you've been on, let's say, Fox 5 in Arizona, and you tell people, I was on Fox. Well, when you say I'm on Fox, that says the national, not an affiliate. So they're just little anti-scam things if you want to keep your nose clean. All right, now, let's say you want to get your toes in the water with the least amount of risk in this paid advertising. Well, Yahoo and Bing are great places to start because they're way, way smaller than Google AdWords and Facebook, and so everything is going to be cheaper and less risky for you to do it. So one of the techniques is to go to Bing and sign up for Bing ads, and then get your feet wet and learn and find the ads that are working good there. And then when you go to the big time, take them to Google or Facebook, they've already proven that they work. See, so it costs you a lot less money to test on these smaller platforms. So all of those, but anyway, if there's, again, that's only 10% of the whole internet. So what you can do is type into Google or Google the term ad networks. Remember, ad is spelled A-D.
Okay, ad networks.
Ad networks, and you'll see all these other places that will come up that if they accept you into their network, they'll place ads for you on all kinds of sites around the world. So it's one of those testing things. You got to see which makes most sense for you, and then put some small ads in, see if you can get them to break even or be profitable, and then that's a good ad network for you.
I like that. So, Tom, I've gotten some emails from people asking how they find out more, and do you have some resources to help them not have to go crazy trying to find training?
Yeah, well, I've had pretty much undisputably the longest mentor program on the internet where you actually talk to me. It cracks me up. A lot of the people that they sell you into their program.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And then you never see or speak to them ever again. So I'm the most successful guy at my level on earth. And they could go to greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, and they can see a video of our retreat center and our joint venture program, and there's a learning brochure they can download called a Magalog, but they can download the PDF version, and all the details are there of how I work with people. And I switched I turned it on its head a long time ago, where most people want 50 or 100 grand to work with you, and I brought it down to they just make an entry fee, and I don't get paid my big money unless they make money. You've seen me present that at a lot of conferences.
I have. It was life-changing for so many
well,
people.
That's why people, love the program, because they know I'm not going to disappear on them, because I don't get my big money unless they make money, and then I cap it so that they're not stuck with me forever. Once they take off on their own, we both made money, and I cheer them on.
And that's at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com.
Correct.
Perfect. I love that. Last thought you'd like to share with my listeners, Tom?
Well, I really want them to know that this can be one of the greatest things in your business life, the online part, if you take the time to learn how to do things inexpensively, to test, to see what's working best for you, and then roll that out bigger. It's not an overnight thing, but I can tell you that for the past 4 years I've been doing this. It's been one of the, and I was in business since I was in college, basically. So I've been in business over 40 years. This is the best thing that gives you the most lifestyle beauty because you can work from anywhere. I choose to be home now because I've already traveled all over the world, but you can travel and run your business. So take the time, get the training, and this can be one of the greatest things for you and your family.
And I think another important lesson from what you've told us today is you don't have to spend a lot of money. You just need to think about things before you jump all the way in.
Yes, you need and test small and then roll out big when you get the test winners. And the other thing is when life gets in the way, and I know you've got a mother that's heavily on your mind. Lots of times that you're taking care of her. But when my mother went south on me, I took off 3 months, and most of my friends said we'd have been bankrupt if we did that. And I came back with more money than when I left. If you take the time to build this, you're building virtual real estate. And it's working for you when life gets in the way.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for being on the show today, Tom.
My pleasure.
All right, everybody. Remember, the internet is there to help you when life gets in the way if you do it right. So remember, the right questions can truly change your life. So what are you asking today? Have a great day, everyone.
You've been listening to It's All About the Questions, starring Laura Stewart. Connect with Laura at it'sallaboutthequestions.com and download a free workbook that will help you ask better questions starting today.